It's a great tool to give up that sense of self, get lost in just trust, and there's nothing left but just to be. You know, we talk about in yoga, as an instructor, we talk about dissolution of the ego, but usually it's just an intellectual concept. And here we get the chance to actually physically do it, just feel that sense of just smallness. You realize how, at the moment, fragile life is, and at the same time, how powerful we can be when we let that go. The Maya, we call it in Sanskrit, the illusion of who we think we are. When that's gone, which it is during this session, holy smokes, this is exactly what we attempt to achieve in the yoga experience. But do we really do that? Do we get lost in the sense of self? Most of the time, no. What more are we than just our breath? It's the first thing we do when we enter this world. And there we are, just us and our breath. No visual stimuli. The auditory is amazing because we have this incredible music in sync with this whole process. You feel lifted, protected, supported, and you just feel the sense of love, confidence, and awe-inspiring. All of those intentions that are put into the experience are more than just felt here in the thinking brain. It's not. You feel it in your body, and you just go with it. So you're breathing in peace, confidence, success, the white mist, all of that. It's not something you're thinking about. You're not seeing the words. You're actually feeling the experience. This is just like we talk about in yoga. It's not meant, you can read about this all you want, but to experience quantum lighting is a whole different experience. It's exactly what it is. The diaphragmatic breath is the most important breath that we can do. Anybody with any type of anxiety, hyper-sympathetic nervous system overload. So in other words, when the stress response is constantly turned on, which is how we function in this culture. Learning to practice this breath technique is creates an instantaneous shift for us. It's also been scientifically validated. We know this. This has been going on, honestly, since the 1940s when we first identified the stress response. We already learned how to correct it, initiating the breath at the abdominal level, getting the diaphragm to descend and away from the chest into the abdomen, letting the chest relax through the whole breathing process makes us more efficient at breathing. So it goes beyond just conquering the stress response. We learn to sync that breath with the movement, and because of the incredible depth of oxygenation of the brain and of the tissues of the body, we get lost again in that experience. We forget that the legs are moving. We forget that the body's actually moving. And now here we are, circulating all of that chi, that energy, that prana throughout the body, cardiovascularly, aerobically, at the same time. What an incredible combo. The feeling and the sort of the illumination, I guess, of the words and bringing them into the physical body. I mean, I could visualize the white color, white mist, the gray mist. Different images would come through, even though I know there's nothing in front of my eyes. It's black, you know. Trusting that what I'm experiencing is real and in the moment. It's very powerful. And in the moment, anything can happen. Incredible possibility. So even though I'm not trying to think of things, I'm getting breakthroughs in my mind, and all these possibilities are coming to me. Those are the images that I experience. So the treadmill is, I did want to comment on it because treadmill, although it requires balance, and obviously we're moving, we are experiencing movement, thus cardiorespiratory exercise. We are also, it's a passive exercise. We're not having to push that belt, it's moving for us. And we just set is the pace and the angle. And then that's the beautiful thing. So again, in that passive movement, we get a sense that we're not alone, we're not in this on our own and by ourselves. We get a sense that we are supported. And when we learn to give up control, my God, anything's possible. And to me, that treadmill was metaphorical for that support that we feel like we lack. My gosh, no more now. The weight is no longer on our shoulders, you know. It's provided for us. And I know the treadmill isn't the only tool that we can use. And
I just wonder what I would experience, with these other things if I were to use a bicycle or a cardiogrameter or an elliptical machine. What would that be like, First and foremost, I see the most powerful impact here on central and peripheral nervous system. Learn to control the nervous system through the breath, through pranayama, through diaphragmatic breath work, and you can control the entire body. In other words, as above, so below. We learn to control the mind, the emotions. Science supports this, that from there we can control depression. We can control anxiety. We can control sleep disorder. We can control PTSD. And we don't only need to lose 22 veterans a day, to suicide anymore. I mean, it's been shown to be beneficial. It's a shame that this has to be the reality of what we experience when this is such a simple technique, and more people don't know about it, and this needs to be known. Beyond just the nervous system, though, I mean, through the nervous system, we can affect the organic chemistry of the body. We can learn to control our blood sugar through correct mind-body alignment, cholesterol. I mean, I've done graduate research in this 25 years ago. I did the research on this already. And like I mentioned earlier, this research has been around since the 40s and 50s. Through human and animal studies, we know the stress response raises cholesterol, raises triglycerides, raises blood sugar, raises blood pressure. And therefore, relaxation training actually reverses all of this. And here we are now, not only doing relaxation training, but we're also doing physical exercise. The implications are endless. We think about the visualization aspect here. We can, through visualization, through mind-body control, we can shrink tumors. We can raise seizure threshold in children and help them cure their epilepsy. The possibilities for asthmatics and other people struggling with COPD and respiratory disorders. I mean, I can think of every system of the body that could benefit from this. I mean, people suffering from chronic pain, or just because of their anxiety or just not knowing how to breathe, they can control that as well. I was able to experience an almost pretty fast, I wouldn't say instantaneous, but quick resolution of my low back pain, which is chronic. It's always been there, and I learned to deal with it. And normally, when I would just walk my dog, it actually aggravates it. And here, I find it dissolved. And here I am sitting here now, 20 minutes, 30 minutes after this session, and I have no pain. So I think part of it was obviously the movement, but part of it also was a dissociation with the self and with the physical body, and no longer identifying with the pain helped me just be present with the experience, and then therefore it had no more power over me. I let it go. That's how I experienced the pain is gone. Now, I'd love to see this be my ongoing reality going forward, but I know, reality is you carry this pattern with you. It tends to come back. So now I see the power in doing this on a regular basis. Quantum gliding is for everybody. Everybody. I can see police officers benefiting from this, the stress that they go through, military, teachers, doctors, children, elderly. I mean, we all need this. This needs to get out, and everyone needs to know about this, because this is too powerful and too divinely inspired, in my opinion, to keep on a local level. I'm going to do everything in my power to be able to get this out there, and I believe in it so much. And I have so many years of training in a variety of these techniques, yoga, martial arts, meditation, and then the knowledge of cares, right? And this sums it all up for me. And it's such a simple, unbelievably accessible tool. Again, it should not be held back.